Hello guys. So it's been a while since I've been live, and today is going to be a little bit of a different subject because what I've usually been doing is predictions and riffing on the state of the world, which I obviously will do today as well, but it's going to be a little bit of a different focus. And that's really to update you about myself, my business, my own brand, which you might have noticed has been changing. I'm recording this on YouTube as well, so if this gets taken down for whatever reason, there will be a backup. So if you see my face going from screen to screen, you will know why. And so I want to get into how my business is changing, and I want to take you on this journey with me, how my brand, my values are evolving. And I have a feeling that there might be quite a lot of you going through the same thing, especially if you have been really affected by what's happening in Palestine, if you've been affected by the war, and if your mind has just been blown open, your heart has been blown open by what has been happening the last 8 months. And I'm going to share my personal journey and then relate it into how it's affecting my business, changing my business. And I'm taking you on this journey with me because I want to be open about it. And I'm really moving away from business that's very polished, that's pretending to be perfect, that aims to have it all figured out, because I'm realizing that that is actually inauthentic and it doesn't resonate with how I want to show up and who I really want to be going forward. And those are actually not the kind of clients that I'm calling in. So if at any point you have questions or you resonate with what I'm saying, please share, please engage, please like, please comment, because obviously you know that I'm shadow banned. I've lost my account multiple times on this platform, and I'm also going to be getting into that. So let's start with the fact that yes, my brand and my business is changing. You might have noticed I've been fairly quiet in bringing out any offers. It just hasn't felt like time. And also I feel like on a DNA level, I know I've been activated by this war. And that's possibly because I have some DNA from the region of Palestine. And even though I don't consciously remember it, I am not consciously Muslim in my bloodline, but who knows? Because I do believe we've been everything, and it's actually not about religion. It's about the history of trauma. So if you've ever, or your family or your ancestors have ever experienced war, or if you've ever experienced being a refugee, if you've been displaced for any reason, if you've been the subject or victim of colonialism, then you will probably feel this coming up for you quite strongly. And if you don't, I still believe that you're affected by it, because colonialism is a scourge of this world. And I'm going to be going into that more deeply today as well. So as you know, I have been offering my gifts, which are working in the quantum field, being a psychic, a healer, an intuitive, a medical intuitive. I've done human design readings, astrology readings, all the stuff. And I still do all that. I still have those skills, but I'm also deconstructing the way that I show up in those businesses. And a lot of the places that I received my training, I received my diplomas, I'm grateful for what I got from these teachings, because they really helped me to step into my own gifts. They helped me to explore my own talents. But also, I'm moving away from the paradigm that you necessarily need a bunch of coaching and diplomas and degrees, which I have all of, which I've been in the system, let's say, my whole life. I've worked in finance, I've worked in pharma, the big evil institutions, and I believe that all of this has been part of my journey. And I would offer you to reflect on where you have come from, what your journey has been, because that's actually helping you. It's serving you for these times because you know what it's like to be, let's say, in these corporate institutions, which is my background. And a lot of these corporate institutions are not always of the light. And definitely the financial institutions, they're not actually there to serve the masses of the people. Now, it might seem like I'm making broad statements, and that might be true, but those broad statements have truth in them, right? And you can always find exceptions. You can always find ethical businesses, ethical finance, microfinance, and even microfinance can have certain hooks in that are not always helping the people that they're funding. Let's just put it that way. But the financial institutions as they currently are, and that they have currently been for at least the last 100 years, are not serving the people. We're in a debt-based business, and that debt is impoverishing most people. It's enslaving most people. And that debt and the function of society, the way it is right now, is actually making the rich richer, and it's making the poor poorer. So that wealth distribution is just increasing. Now, what does this mean for my business? I am decolonizing my business in every way. And this is not something that has happened. It's a process I'm in right now. And what does it mean to decolonize your mind, your body, your business, the systems? It means becoming aware of where we are being forced to operate in a system that is increasing inequality, increasing social injustice, where we are increasing divides, where we are allowing the 1% to dictate the terms for the rest of us, the masses. And it has many different applications, and it goes very, very deep. I'm actually myself in training about it. I've shared about that. I've taken some trainings by Dr. Rosales Metza, and she's actually doing specific training for white people who are decolonizing, which I highly encourage you to join if you haven't. And no matter what, whether we're colored, we're black, anything under the sun, white, we all benefit from doing decolonization work, anti-racism work, because what we're seeing coming up in our world right now, it's very clear that we're living in a world of injustice, of colonization, and late stage capitalism. And I didn't realize that actually late stage capitalism is a tool of colonialism. And I might go deeper into that, but might not have time for it in this live. But I wanted to let you know what this means in terms of my values, how they're changing, how they're morphing, and what I want to use my skills for going forward. So the values that are really important for me is obviously social justice, authenticity, stepping away from any systems that dictate to you how to show up, how to be polished, to be perfect, to be linear, to be scripted. I don't subscribe to that. I've done that. I don't actually think it helped me in any way, and that's because it wasn't authentic to me. And so what I've always been a proponent of, and I continue to do, is focus on sovereignty, your own sovereignty, sovereignty of nations, sovereignty of body, mind, soul, everything. So that you know that in 2020, I was very vocal about the sharp thing, and I still am. Now the truth is coming out around that, and you notice the media not talking about it, just like you notice the media is whitewashing everything that's happening in Palestine. So obviously, you know, which if we have to pick a side, I definitely do, and that's on the Palestinian side. So I've also decided that because my work is focused on decolonization, being a voice for the oppressed, and amplifying voices that are standing up to repression, I will be amplifying those voices. And it obviously means I will not be giving my energy to trolls. I will not be engaging with people who don't call what's happening now mass injustice and genocide in the world. So I also want to say that I'm not here to discuss with anyone who's supporting Zionism, who is in any way justifying it in any shape or form. My energy is not going to be going to you or educating you, because there's enough out there for you to know what's going on. So if you're actively choosing the side of the colonizer, I'm not for you. So you can very politely leave, because I'm not engaging. I have realized what has been draining my energy, and that is to convince people who actually don't want to change. And my job is not to convince anyone to change. My job is to help those who already know that change has to happen in this world. And my job is here to help those step into the authenticity of what that means for you, how you can shop. And I'm sharing my own journey with that in this decolonization, let's say, mantle that I'm taking on. And in that time, it's possible that you, as I, will experience a lot of confusion, a lot of grief, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of loss in businesses, in relationships, in friendships, in opportunities. I can tell you, I have lost business opportunities for speaking up about Palestine, for taking a stand. As you know, I've lost my accounts, I've lost many collaborations, and you know what? Those were not for me. There might have been a time that I would have thought maybe I should shut up, but actually I've never been one to shut up, and that has been a common thread in my entire career. Whether I was in finance, whether I was in the luxury hotel industry, whether I was in pharma, I always called out injustice, whether it was for me or in general, because I really don't believe that staying silent and taking it from the colonizer, from the patriarchy, from the systems is helping either you or anyone else. And that might mean in the short term that you lose opportunities, that you lose friends, that you lose money. But I know for me personally that I am stepping away from the paradigm that money drives everything. And I am now refocusing on definitely bringing in abundance, but in abundance in alignment with my values and how I want to be in the world that I am participating in creating, because it's not this current world of injustice that we're in. So let's also, as I said, be very cognizant of the fact that there will be loss when you go on this journey, because you are changing your role in a system that is so ingrained in injustice and domination that if you want to step outside that cookie cutter model, there are usually repercussions. So if you know that that's going to happen, you can in some way be prepared. You're never going to be prepared for everything, and that would mean that you're not human. So I felt the loss, I felt the grief, I felt the rage, so much so that I haven't really offered anything in terms of any group programs, anything new for 8 months. And I've gone through all that emotion of loss, fear, scarcity, lack, self-worth. It's all been coming up for me, and it's been coming up because it's time to purify and alchemize these emotions and these hooks that the system has in us to keep us small, to keep us in servitude. So know that as you do this decolonization work, as you step out of the conditioning of the matrix, and bear in mind, I know that we're still living in a matrix, and I know many times people say you have to work within the matrix to change it. I get all of that, but you have to understand where and how you're being manipulated in order to step away from that, in order to choose something different. And it's not even any longer in fighting that, because there is a lot of that fight energy that I have. I'm an Aries sun and Mercury, so my expression is fiery and I have that fire. But I also know that if you're using that fire for rage for too long, you're going to burn out. And instead, use your fire to amplify the direction that you're going in. That means ignoring, making less important that which you're moving away from while recognizing what it is, so that you can give your energy to something else. And what is this something else that I'm building? This is helping people come into their own, especially a lot of people of color or white people who are actively trying to create a better world for themselves, for their families, for all oppressed people everywhere that they are, whether that be Palestine, Congo, Sudan. And honestly, that does start with you. That starts from divesting from systems, from jobs, from bosses, from friendships, from relationships that drain you, that keep you small, that are not in alignment with your soul's highest blueprint. And maybe you don't know what that is, and that's where I would love to help you. And it also helps you in really building something for a future that is more just, more equitable. And that also means giving reparations to those that have been injured. And so these are the themes that I'm going to be really looking at in my rebrand, in my business. And I'm sharing it with you because it's going to be a journey that I'm going to be doing live. And this will also involve systems. As I told you, I've been doing that since the beginning of this year. I'm incorporating more AI. Not a fan of AI, but I also recognize it's here. So we can't change something if we don't know what's happening. So I'm actively and consciously choosing to engage with it because it's already here. And I'd like to be a part of knowing how it works so I can be aware of what's happening, so I can make a conscious choice. So if you are with me, I'm working with a company called Genius AI. And also Captivation Hub. So if systems and AI is something that you'd like to get into, then just drop me a DM about it, because I'm going to be very open in the non-linear, perhaps at times chaotic, non-consistent way that I'm changing my business, because I'm going through active decolonization, active grief work, active trauma work as live as I'm doing it with you, as it's showing up in my business, because I think that I'm not subscribing anymore to having it all figured out, having it all polished. And the way I'm going to create my business going forward is in collaboration. So I'm going to ask you for your help so that you can show me and tell me what is important for you. The people who are interested in actually learning about what real decolonization work is, what real anti-racism work is. And it's not what you're seeing in human resources of the big companies. You know, the whole diversity groups, they are not working for you, they are working for the firm. I really want to make that very clear. The HR and diversity movements in big corporations are actually not there for the staff, for the people. They're there to protect the company so they can tick certain boxes. And I have spoken to so many people in businesses where I've asked, how satisfied are you that your company has your back, and not a single one in 50 people wrote me back with anything positive. So that obviously means the system as it is, it's just whitewashing what's actually happening. And this whitewashing has been happening throughout history because history has been written by the victors. And I myself, when I went to university, the economics, the politics, the international law, everything that I studied, a lot of it has been through the prism of Western imperialism. And I'm just learning the other side now. So I'm going to be sharing that with you as well. And so I just want to let you know that the new way that I'm going to be showing up is very much in alignment with the fact that I'm a projector in human design. I have inconsistent energy. When I feel the urge to show up, I'm going to do that. I'm going to share it. If I have paid clients, there's an exchange there, so I have the energy to show up because there's a fair exchange. But other times, I'm going to show up as consistently as my energy allows it. And this is what it means to be authentic to yourself, to not use other people's formulas for success and think that's necessarily going to apply to you. I really want to encourage people to dig deep into what their core values are and then show up in that way, because in that way you're going to resonate and you're going to call in tribe, people, clients, relationships, friendships that are in alignment with these new views. And that is going to mean that you're going to lose people, opportunities, money along the way. But this old system, it's crashing. You can see it happen all around you. And if you don't resonate with the way things are now, if you want to change and you want to be a part of that change and you want to learn and you want to grow, then I encourage you to take this journey with me. And also tell me what is important for you. Tell me if your business has changed, if you're thinking about changing it. Are you thinking about changing careers? How are you feeling at this time? What is coming up for you? What questions do you have? What would you like to see from me? If you've been following my work, if you want to ask about how things are changing, I would love to talk about that with you. I have been listening to a lot of Gary Stevenson, who is an economist. You can find him on YouTube. And I've realized that I align very much with him in terms of his economic views about wealth redistribution. I didn't realize that I was as left as I seem to be. And also, I'm not prescribing to any of the party system that we have. I realize I'm going more towards anarchism than any other system, because that seems to be what is appealing to me in this time of global inaction of a genocide. So all the government systems are coming up and you can really see all the flaws in them. So I do believe in taxing billionaires. Go ahead, have your billion. It can provide for generations after you. But I do believe that if you have billions, that actually it's the billionaires who justifiably should be taxed and not the people in the middle and at the bottom who are just losing out more and more. And we can get more into the economics of that as we go on, but I'm just telling you where I am right now. And is it possible that I will change my stance? It's possible, but I want to be open and honest that, yeah, I'm evolving. And I've come from being super capitalist, I would say even super whitewashed, not understanding really how the world works. Being a coconut, right? Brown on the outside and white on the inside without really knowing. And I'm actively trying to change that by learning more, by actually seeing how our world operates, and by choosing something different and supporting those people who are wanting to liberate the people who have been subject to colonization. And we have all been subject to colonization, to patriarchy, and the time is coming to alchemize, purify all of these systems. So if that's something that you're interested in and you want to know how to navigate that, I'm going to be sharing that journey with you. And I know that at any time I can lose this platform. So if you want to come onto my mailing list, just drop me your emails and I will add you to that. But I'm going to be sharing more of this type of content as I navigate this new rebrand, this new pivot live in real time. And I want to draw you, encourage you to co-create this with me, because I'm really focusing on community building and co-creating and giving value, not based on what I think you want, but because you're telling me you want this. So thank you for listening to me. It's taken me a while to get here to even share it, because frankly, I wasn't really sure what direction I wanted to go in, but I very much feel that there's like an activist part of me, and I feel like I need to give that space. And that's where I am right now. I have always been into sovereignty. I'm going to continue with that. But I'm unsubscribing from all the ways I've been taught to show up, all the need for diplomas, continued education. You don't need any of that. You need to show up, serve the tribe and people that choose you, that pay you. I do believe that you should get paid for what you do, but I also believe that payment can be fair, and I've changed my prices. They were £350. I brought that down to £200. So I am actively trying to make things fair. I know that the times that we're in, and I just don't resonate anymore with people who make it all about the money and the 100,000 figure months and constantly extracting more. I just really want to know that you're getting value for what you're putting in. I really believe that that is the way I would like to see the world go. So that's how I have to show up. So thank you for staying with me, for watching this. If this spoke to you at all, please share with me how it did, and if it did, and what you want to see going forward, and what you're experiencing on your journey, and what issues, challenges are coming up for you, and maybe you have advice for me. I'm inviting you to share that with me. So I am going to show up more like this, and let's see where it takes us.